Welcome everybody to the Single and Stilettos Show. I'm Suzanne Oshima and I'm a matchmaker and dating coach at Dream Bachelor and Bachelorette, and I'm also the founder of Single and Stilettos. Today we have on our show Tinzley Bradford, and she's the author of The Settle-Free Dating Method for Women. And I'm so excited to have her here today because today we're talking about 5 things he must have. So before we jump into it, Tinzley, I would love for you to tell our audience a little bit about you and what made you write this book.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here as well, Suzanne. Thank you. And hello to Suzanne's lovely audience. So I am Tinzley Bradford, author of this lovely book, The Settle-Free Dating Method for Women. Can you see that? It's a no-nonsense advice guide to remind you that you are more. And notice I said advice guide. It ain't telling you what you need to do. It's just making a few suggestions that'll help you make wiser dating choices, which is what my goal is. I empower women to make wiser dating choices when choosing their mates so they won't end up in a toxic, negative, unfulfilling relationship like I think I've suffered from over my time in my life. So that's why I did it. Wrote it for you all.
I think we've all been in that type of relationship at some point in our life, but that's exactly why we're here, is we don't want women to settle, right, Tinzley?
Absolutely. Hashtag settle free.
Exactly. Okay, so tell us the first thing that he must have.
The very first thing a man who you're trying to date or get with must have is a vision and a plan for that relationship to grow and evolve. I know that's something that's not material, but it's something important. Because if you're dating someone that doesn't have a vision for anything, period, you through dealing anyway. But definitely if you're dealing with someone that doesn't have a vision for the relationship to grow and evolve and a vision to be in a long-term relationship, then there's a problem there. Because you're already going in with someone who's not committed to the cause. You're not going there to play bingo, right? You're going there for a relationship that's going to be loving, and you're hoping that it's going to grow into someday marriage and a family and a nice big old house with a picket fence or a condo, whatever you want. And if he's not on the same page, then he doesn't have your vision. He doesn't share your vision or your hopes. Make sure, for me, he has a vision and a plan to grow that thing, and he wants it just like you want it.
Exactly. And I will tell you, ladies, some key things that a man will say at the beginning stages of dating that will tell you he has no plan is when you ask him what he's looking for and he says, "Oh, I'm just looking to have fun. I'm not looking for anything serious." Ladies, I can't tell you how many women have told me that and they didn't believe the man, but believe what he says. He's not looking for anything serious. Don't think, "Oh, I'm going to change him." No, he's just looking to have fun.
Right. And you are not the representative for Toys R Us, so it's not your responsibility to give him any fun.
That is so
funny. To Toys R Us to get some toys to play with if you want to have some fun.
Exactly. I love that. Okay, so what's your second thing that he must have?
Oh, he's going to have a long-term, good, stable job. I'm sorry. Now, there are exceptions. Some people go through things in their life when you met them at a time where they just might have just lost their job. I'm not even going to talk about those ones because as long as they had one and they're rebuilding and they're trying to do something. But to be honest, he does need to have stability and a job. I mean, a real one that has benefits and everything, because the last thing you need to do is end up with somebody who doesn't have a stable job where every other week he's working here. He's doing off-end jobs, one-offs. You see him on the corner with a bag of CDs trying to sell them. I mean, that is not stability for anyone's relationship. You know, it's got to be more than this. Someone on a corner selling oils and CDs. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, oil sellers, but that is not stability. So make sure the person you're dating has a stable job, whether it's his own business, which is even good, or just a 9-to-5 or a real full-time job where he's working for something. He's got an established 401k plan there. He's got a good benefits with it. You don't have to worry about whenever something happens to him, or if something happens to him, you all are trying to get government coverage for his medical expenses. I mean, it's a lot of things you got to think about when a person has a job, because they need to have the ability to cover things that could come up. So you won't be burdened with those expenses if you're his woman or soon to be wife or whatever. So a job, a real one with benefits. Sorry, little duffel bag boy, but that's not going to work.
Exactly. And it sounds like something that would be so like, oh, do I really have to think about that? No, it's being smart. It's being really smart, because you don't want to be caught in a financial position where you're supporting him or something happens and you have to pick up the slack. So right. Tinzley's absolutely right. So what's number 3?
He does have to have reasonable transportation. I'm sorry. I know in New York, Sometimes you don't have to have it. So if I lived up north, I probably let them slide because we all going to be on the subway. I come out my front door, there's a subway right there in New York.
That is true.
But I'm in ATL where I'm having to like have a vehicle just to get down the street to the local McDonald's or whatever. So he's going to need to have that because I'm not doing all the driving. And I had an experience where I dated a guy, and in the beginning stages, I was settling, like I told you, picking him up, bringing him over to my house, dropping him off wherever he needed to go. One day he even asked me to pick up his daughter from soccer practice. I was like, what? So finally I confronted him and said, well, when are you going to drive? What is going on? Do you know that he had the nerve to tell me that he dates women that he doesn't plan on dating women he has to do those things for, like drive. Yes, he was serious. He said, oh, I don't plan on dating women I have to do those things for. Needless to say, you already know what I told him, right?
Next. Oh my God. He treated you like you were an Uber driver. That's the wrong man for you.
And then Uber wasn't even out. That was years ago, you know. And then it's so funny. One day I pulled up. We was in the same parking lot, you know, I think at a package store. I look over there, and he was on the passenger side. Some girl was driving. He was getting out the car, and she was driving. I looked over there and just said,
you should have. That's when you should have walked over and handed her your book and said, don't settle.
I wish I had written it back then. That was so long ago. I hadn't even written the book, but he was one of the reasons why I wrote it.
I could see why. No one wants to settle for a man that you have to drive around. He's not your child.
Honey, ladies, no, do not do it. Picking up people, dropping them off. Oh, no.
Exactly. Okay, so what's number 4?
So number 4 is he has to have a confidence, positive energy. He needs to have humor. He needs to have a nice big heart. He needs to have family and moral values. His breath does not need to stink. I'm sorry. I have to keep it real. I dated guys with breath from you know where, and I try to be nice. I try to give it a second date and say, well, maybe it was the first day he had something to eat. Second date, it still smells like that. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is not going to happen because it's a hygiene issue. At some point, you can tell him and say, hey, you might need to brush your teeth. But then if you come back again and it's still smelling like that, I can't kiss a smelly breath. I'm sorry.
No
but
one
positive
can.
energy, confidence in himself. He needs to just be a nice person, respectful to me. All of these qualities need to exist, you know. He needs to be a communicator because I'm a talker. I don't like to sit there and assume what you're thinking. I'm sitting there right next to you now, and I got to assume what you're thinking. Now, I'm going to flip it a little bit. Sometimes the best conversations are quiet. Next to someone you love, y'all just enjoyed each other's time if that's what you're vibing off of at the time. But if I'm ready to have a conversation, just like the other tips we were talking about earlier, I want someone that's going to be able to hold a decent conversation with me and be confident and not all jealous and all that.
That is true. Okay, so what's your fifth thing that he must have?
He must have something going for himself. And what I mean by that is his own grind, if you will, his own thing. Like me, I'm a writer, I'm a speaker, I got this book out, I'm going around promoting it, I'm doing these videos, I'm empowering women. That's what I do. I do a lot of things online with women and people and gatherings. I don't need a man sitting there going, well, you should have been doing that. I had a guy tell me one day he doesn't want to talk to me because he doesn't want to be all on the YouTube videos, and he doesn't want to be all on my shows. He doesn't want to talk to anyone that doesn't, that does all these things online. You got to not ever date someone that's trying to crush your dreams. I mean, if he had his own business about himself, he wouldn't have a problem with what I'm doing. So don't date somebody that doesn't have their own thing going. They're homeboys to hang out with, play ball with, or play pool with, or whatever. Quit sitting there watching what I'm doing and get your own life. I'm going to continue to be settle free and write these books and speak. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Exactly. He has to support you in your efforts, and he has to have his own passions. That's really important.
Yeah.
Well, these have been some great tips. So, Tinzley, tell our audience how they can find you and your awesome book.
Yes, everybody, you can find me with my awesome book right here on TinzleyBradford.com by scrolling down after you click on that website to where you see it says buy my book. And you can click it right there, and it will take you right to where you can buy that book. And also, if you want to follow me online, my website has every single social media page I'm affiliated with on it. So click there and follow me. I'm excited. Thank you so much, Suzanne.
You're welcome, Tinzley. Thanks so much for joining us on the Single on Stiletto Show. Thanks everyone for joining us on the Single on Stiletto Show. Our show is available both in video format and podcast format. If you'd like to view the videos, you can go to singleonstilettos.com. If you'd like to get the podcast, you can download it from iTunes. And if you would like to get our free ebook on the 3 secrets guaranteed to attract any man based on scientific research, you can click right here on the video, or you can go to singleonstilettos.com.